India should engage with the Taliban? Should we stay away from engaging with the Taliban? Or should we actually be propping up the resistance?
Of course we should. It's the timing that matters. Currently there's a lot of chaos happening, and we need to wait and watch and see what emerges as the leadership, and then go ahead and see how we should engage. And why do I say this? We have been dealt with somewhat of a bad hand. Okay, the jihadis are back. The Pakistan regime is clearly in control of these, in some senses, of the new regime that is coming up in Kabul. Americans have retreated, and the kind of reliance that we had of them will obviously, cause us concern in terms of their diminishing sort of role that they are playing out there. And some of our friends like Russia and others have sided with the current regime.
We need to engage with people who have been our friends and partners. They feel completely isolated from the Taliban. Who are we to decide what the future of Afghanistan is? But what we can decide is if that there is a dark regime which is represented by the most medieval antediluvian forces, that we stay away from them.
I do believe that this is indeed a brutal, barbaric and ruthless regime. That said, India has dealt with ruthless regimes in the past. One does not get to choose the regimes one deals with. So I would adopt a position somewhere in between the two extremes of either complete engagement with the Taliban or completely shunning them.
We are watching the situation closely. Now that we knew that Taliban is gaining momentum and it is likely that they are going to be in power, and the chances are that they will continue to behave what they behaved earlier.
I don't like this terminology, wait and watch. Everyone seems to be using this term. I think a better terminology is analyze and calibrate. We will calibrate our policy completely. I think we've got the talent with us. We've got great diplomatic talent with us. People with great experience who were predicting the right things, and we were not believing most of them.
The Cabinet Committee on Security has met today under the chairmanship of our Honorable Prime Minister. They would be looking at various pros and cons. They would be evaluating the situation. And you are aware of the fact that Mr. Jaishankar, the foreign minister, has also been in touch with Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State. He has also evaluated the position. So I think such decisions are taken with a lot of maturity, and a holistic view has to be taken.
Give us a sense of what you see happening in your country at the moment. Is the clock being turned back to 20 years ago when women were denied what the world saw as their basic freedoms? Is that the real fear you have, Roya?
Taliban are coming to a new Afghanistan. A new Afghanistan is not only the one that where its people have had a lot of progress. Women have enjoyed over the past 20 years the kind of rights and liberties that have been unprecedented, that they had so many achievements and ability to join all forms of activities and positions and professions. But it's also a different Afghanistan because it is the people have already been exposed to the rest of the world. They are connected to the rest of the world, and at the same time they are hungry for justice.
The last prophet, first wife, was a trader. She was a business lady, and she was working lady, and she was not forced to sit at home. So is this the picture of Islam that really Islam is? This is the one that we know. But what kind of Sharia law they are talking about, where women will not be allowed to take part in sports, in education, in medical cares, which is very, very, very important.
We've already seen many cases around Hazara Jata where the Taliban have been targeting them. These were Hazara rights activists, female human rights defenders. These are the women that genuinely led the development of the civil society in Afghanistan. And as you said, the Hazara women, they are a double threat because one, they're a woman, and second, they're Hazaras. And unfortunately, they are under attack. They are in grave danger in Afghanistan. And unfortunately, these are the very people that have been abandoned in Afghanistan.
There is a big difference between the woman that you talk about 20 years ago and right now. There is a lot of professional women that I think it will be difficult for Taliban to discuss with them about Sharia and Islam, because we have a lot of women, educated women in Afghanistan. There is a lot of women, not only in Islam, but a lot of professional women that they are working in different sectors in Afghanistan, in different provinces.
All of these aircraft, the howitzers, the tanks are with the Taliban. What does this mean for this region in your appreciation, for Afghanistan, for Pakistan and for India?
Already we were getting reports of weapons being taken over to the Pakistani side from the Chaman border. The Taliban were controlling many of the border areas. So they were gathering this arsenal, these arms and ammunitions for a very long time. Now, what are they going to do with it? Obviously, given the fact that first of all, they will probably need training and sort of help to use how to use all of this equipment. And I think that's where Pakistan's role will come in once again, because Pakistan will perhaps be providing that kind of training, that kind of support to the regime. And we saw that back even in the 90s when the first Taliban government came into existence. There were brigadiers that were in charge of bringing in the Taliban into Kandahar, into Kabul at that time. So there have been officials from the military that were deployed last time. This time around, they've done it much better in a way where they now they know the world is watching, the media is watching. There's a lot of so the Taliban have changed their tactics and changed their PR strategy in which they want to show themselves as any other political power.